Hazel, Lily, Grace, and I really shouldn't act surprised, but I'm absolutely just so proud of my little silly girl. Of course, she's her daddy's little prayer warrior, and so yeah, what a glorious day to be alive, living, and beautiful, healthy little girl. Her daddy was there to see her delivered. That was nice. Of course, you know how it is with the old Rony Boney going around. It's kind of makes it difficult. Oh, and before I get too far ahead of, I want to clarify a couple things. See, like I said, I'm never going to lie to you people, and I won't, but I might be mistaken. And I've got a few things I want to clear up with the Swiss watches. The reason I want to clear this up is because I said Swiss in English, which Switzerland is in England, but I was looking into a watch that I had given to my brother a long time ago, and he had it in his safe, and he sold it back to me. And I did some research because I was into really getting into the antiquities, and found out it was worth quite a little bit, and it was fully cap jeweled, and I wasn't at least 28 jewels. It was all uh, I think sapphires, rubies, and then the cap jeweled I think was a diamond. I don't know. I know it was Wolf Fang escapement. It was a nice 18 karat gold watch. My cousin didn't know it was gold. I didn't know it was gold when I sold it to him for next to nothing. And well, anyway, so I was looking into these watches. So I was talking about the American watches, the ones I was talking about that referring to that they make, Waltham and Elgin and whatnot, all the nice American fine timepieces that started to surpass the Swiss, but still good. Just that's what I like. Gruens. I think I told you guys a story about the Gruen I bought in Maine. I love the people in Maine. I really enjoyed being there, even though I was running from the law. Of course, I was running. Like I said, if you're not running uh, to something, you're running from it. But yeah. So and then okay. So the switch watch thing there, and then the tires that I've always thought, because I grew up there in well, in and out of being on the streets and in homes and whatnot. But there was never that Des Moines Marina there, and I was consulting with a friend who was saying, yeah, not only did you think that there's tires there, and there could be, but have you ever seen them? I said no. You have never snorkeled around there when that when that pier was put in. No, I haven't. He goes, okay. And you thought there was a dive school right there, and I always had, because of all the cottages and stuff, which it was some kind of a boys camp. He said, and he said, but there was a dive school that would come down, because my uncle, he was into diving. My dad Fred's brother, who lived just not very far up the road, he was big time into gooey ducks and stuff like that. So we ate all kinds of different stuff. But anyway, back to the point. So that I don't know. So somebody, because I was thinking to myself last night. Here's why I even questioned my own story. I thought, well, that's pretty damn. Why would the city allow? Because I was told, yeah, oh yeah, they had these huge tires. They chained them together, and so that's what I thought I hooked. I was like, oh man, maybe I hooked the reef. The kid and the dad, they never said anything, and like I said, I fished off there when I was a kid when they first put that in, and this old man, he he flipped out because this girl we were with was carving her name in that. So, but I'd always thought that. See, and that right there goes to show you why you don't want to just assume just anything right off the bat. Okay, and then another thing for Millie. You look great, Millie, and I just there's a lot going on. There's a lot happening. So I'm taking this opportunity to make this stream here. And oh, here, let me. A matter of fact, let me go ahead and put that right there. Listen, this is just something that maybe, and I could be okay. So if if you're feeling, I'm not, I'm just going to go ahead and if anybody out there is feeling terrified of anything, I kind of got like a little birdie told me, if you're terrified of something because things are moving, let's say a little faster than you might have thought, you can't say you weren't respectfully with mercy, and I can't say grace because myself, definitely mercy and love, fair and a triumphant warning, and in a or at least the way I would consider it. And again, I'm just looking at it from a male standpoint, and with all due respect, because I love our women, and we wouldn't be, that we're sometimes we're in that pickle. I know it can seem both ways, but and sometimes I've seen women that are the head of the household because the husband just, and I don't want to down any real uh, a big TV evangelist, quote evangelist, that she has her and her husband sitting right down, and I'm like, what? Okay, what? Anyway, so hey, if that's your calling, great. But if you're teaching people that, look, that stuff, just like that freak that I had on the donut factory, what a wow, man. I mean, hey, I don't know if you can improve on. So I say, even people that are a little heavy or just may not be, quote, as pretty as the carnal world believes they should be, I still see, when you see somebody smiling like that big dude that said, you could tell, you can tell, but people, they'll they'll label all kinds of, they'll have it all figured out, and it's usually never what they think. It's usually never. So if you're terrified and you address it. Now here, I've and again, and I'm not trying to put anybody out because I love you, and March 20th is coming up, and I said ASAP, if as soon as possible. And I'll be talking to an attorney, the good Lord willing, here at 3 o'clock my time, Pacific, and West Coast strutting, um, in a very faithful way. I'll be getting a phone call and trying to get this tort claim worked out. Man, things have been just, it's been a challenge, but one worth a fight worth waging. So, but yeah, so yeah, if you address it, so it's and I've sent a deal to Owen, and I've been here a while now, good 5 years, and you heard the story about the game warden down here, that beautiful beloved officer. What a blessing. Calls it my PO. So, and then we'll get going, but there's a few things I got to address. So it's 30114 Orville, like a miner for a heart of cold, Orville Road East, space 1, Graham, Washington 98338, 243-441-6171. And I'm not concerned about the little they. Even the doctor, he was like, "Oh, that's the third time." I said, "Yeah." And oh, it's so beautiful. So much faith has been in, and see, now we, and counting, just got another one, and now that other one, and I felt his prayers. Now he's told, how many people has he told? How many people as that man told. And that man is a man of God. And the kind of man of God that you want back in you if there's ever any pickle. And not only that, the kind of man you want down on his knees, humbling himself, praying because he truly loves you and cares about the state and the condition that your life might be in, whether you know it or not. It's like that proverbial dog just running that. It doesn't matter if it's your dog or not. If you love animals, and I don't just eat. That bear, I don't eat. I'd only be killing a bear if I had to. Same with a lion. They call them cougars here. They're mountain lions. 250 pounder. She's at least 250 pounds over there. Well, at least she was. I don't know if she. So there it is. Space One. Now I'm not to be and not no, but I'm just led to not to be confused as Space Force One or Air Force One or any space between anywhere. It's not very. I don't have. It's not a lot of the trailers here. It's real small. Everybody knows everybody, whether everybody gets along or not, or agrees. Everybody watches. I think the last time I seen the census, and again, now don't quote me because we're gonna have these fact checkers, which is fine. It's like the old tires, which I don't know. I'm really curious about that myself, and I can't see that being true. Those tires would really ruin the ecosystem, or you would think. I don't know. Maybe there's something I don't know about it, but anyway, I guess it's not that important. But yeah, everybody here, 333 people, everybody in here in this little town, one little post office, which my son just had to run and go drop something off at, and he's got to go do some kind of something, some mechanic work. What a blessing! He's at least staying busy while he's not down there seal coating and stuff, which I used to make. I used to make hot and cold tar emulsion. There's a lot of stuff I got to fill you guys in at. Man, I've had so many damn jobs. It's not funny, but when you got your head up everybody else's up the. So there's that. So now you got my address, you got my phone number. A lot of people have it. I contact a lot of people. They know, they'll shut my phone down. They got it all bugged up, but it don't matter. I'll get a different one when I'm going to get moving here pretty soon. I just got to get some ducats together when it's the right time. I got my boy right here. He's not doing so well. However, it's all I've been living so by my heavenly Yahweh's rule that I'm completely, absolutely comfortable with the way things are going. Did you see that little baby? For anybody you don't know, I'm under Donnie Steen. Donnie Steen. You see that little baby? I asked her yesterday, when she had her. I says, let me post. No, who I will not unless you want to. I'm the first one. So I said, I'm going to screenshot when because she sent me a live. Because you know how it is there at the hospitals. They don't let you in or anything like that. Just, I'm not going to say how ridiculous it is because, they've been doing some real weird stuff too. That now I get, Thumbelina and stuff like that. Most of the stuff of course they try to cut my voice activated dictator. It was told to me that's what it was. So that's how I refer to it. Some people have said that's not what it is. Well, once that's its path and that of least that's what it is. If it's not too far off the mark, well, and they've been getting real crafty, man. They've been changing seriously, but but you probably already know certain little words, and I'm not talking about like a little oversight or overspray as we call it when we were cleaning Boeing parts. I used to clean them plane parts. They did all kinds of stuff. These satanic. I can tell you stories that I just have to brush over, and sometimes I'll go back because to fill in, but some that are just, you know, So yeah. Anyway, so there's that. There's my address. And if for some reason you don't put space one, if for some reason it'll get to me. But you got my phone number anyway. You can text me. All these fish that I think sometimes that's one. I thought well, maybe she's finally got bold enough to she's went ahead and she's just using someone else's name to just kind of, so. And I didn't really read into it because I don't. It was just real quick, and this has happened before, and a while back. But I slapped that. I believe it was a Somalian, and I could be completely wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was. Um, that tried to catfish. I think they call it, yeah, catfishing. See, we fish ourselves, but we're talking. They love to mock, but now the mockers have become the mocked, and the watchers the watched. So yeah, they're really manipulating, all changing right in midstream. Sometimes they're getting pretty well. But yeah, I figured, hey man, I'm gonna give her my number and address. It's not the first time. Just I was waiting for the phone to ring, even to just say, hey man, I've been kind of, or yeah, you gotta. It's just go ahead and you can just in your mind just say happy birthday and just do what you got to do, and then of course I won't panic. I'll just do what I do, and it'll just happen. Things will happen like it always like it always does. So not to there's no guilt, none of that. I'm still I like I said, I'm always going to be there to support you as long as you're keeping the good Lord number one. It's not about being a preacher, a preachette, or none of that. You'll find your niche. If I'm not there with you, we're allowing the Lord to assist us in burdening each other's carnal, fleshly uh, troubles and you know uh, achievements, and sharing all kinds of stuff, life. Because I'm gonna be. That's it. Lord has made it clear to me. I'm getting it because I got robbed. And I'm not poor me or nothing, but he knows, and that's why I'm. That's why we're getting where we're going, and we're doing it in the time that he sees fit. Created us in his image, Son of Man, now accompanying the head of days. People just don't. They just don't get it. Most of you're starting to. Most of you are starting to, but that's why we're. That's why we're because of this. So much beauty, even after all they've done and the little we've contributed. But now we're just singing songs of healing praise, trying to heal her, because trying to heal her enough to so she can sustain the hell's troubled children just enough so we can salvage, just get a few more here, a few here and there, and then it's time for the banquet feast and on to eternal, our own eternal encounter. That's why it says it's unnumbered. See, I wasn't going to lay this, but now I'm led to. That's why it says they're unnumbered. That's why it says that not even the Son of Man knows the day nor hour. You know why? Because it's undetermined. See, people don't realize that, and you can like that or not. But just because it says that it's the beginning from the end, that's that's true. But it's alive and living. It has different aspects of its meaning. And it's not to pervert it or fit so it'll fit. That's just the way it is, was, and will always be. And so when it says those that have been martyred, those that haven't defiled themselves with women, vice versa, whatever, those are the 144,000. And even that number, because it's numbered, see, that's what's so beautiful. See, he gives us these numbers on things that he wants us to know that there's numbers too for it's a double-edged sword, see? And in our case, it works both ways. It also, just like north and the absence of it, and they want to claim it's something else, check this out. Not only does that the 144,000 being the fact that it is numbered, it's an indication that when it says that these are unnumbered, that there's something going on here. Why would these be numbered? You see, I wasn't even going to go here, but guess what? This is how this works. So, and again, with all you people that I love, and all Mr. Carico and Mr. Pounders and Mr. and Mrs. Hall and all you beloved I watch there. I just haven't, because my daughters and everything. So, and then I'm working on it. I'm hoping soon. Your little name, huh? Lily, Hazel, just like my eyes. What a beautiful thing. Hope, substance of things hoped for. So that unnumbered, the numbered is also to help, so that you'll get the fact that so if he'll that's also its own revelation as to why is this numbered. Because it's already been done, and maybe a few are still happening here and there, because you hear, well, all these people that are still being killed. So I don't know any more than just what I'm telling you, and I'm okay with that. And you should also be okay with that too, enough to say, I'm going to go check that out for myself. First in prayer, supplication, and for me that means fasting. I that may not even mean what the word means, but that's what he or just even just a fasting of some sort, just like today when I said, wow, just throw some cold water on you. Go ahead and give yourself a little external baptism. Go ahead, wake yourself up a little bit. That's why I didn't put my hair back, because I love you guys, and I'm just gonna roll with it. But that's the thing. Before I get off track, the Lord wants me to finish this. Thank you, Father. That's the thing. It's still unnumbered. And here's the other thing. You guys are not going to like this one. Some of you are going to love it. You're going to go, oh, yeah. And it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. But you need to know this. He chooses joys in the journey. There's things he chooses to just, and it's because it's all being written down. He's got his angels. He can do as he chooses when he chooses. And he's got his buffer zone. And those buffer zones, believe me, they're going to and fro. They're always, it's going on, baby. It's happening. And no disrespect to all you beloved, I don't mean that. I'm my future wife. Now, I've been reading it for the last, well, she says like 3 years. Okay, three. However, however many you are, which isn't even important for me. And how faithful I've been, even over situations like that when it's not been easy. Just the bus ride back. And I know you might be getting nervous about that. Itimi. That's right. That's it. It tin me because and I usually I don't get. He goes, yeah, on the bus. He goes, yeah, you got that right. He goes, hey man, and I'm not glorifying myself, but I just don't get nervous about that. But I am gonna go down. She's mine. This whole thing, it's ours. I'm going down there eventually, even if it's after it's restored to completely her original dominion. Going all over. Excuse me, pardon me. Going everywhere. I've been everywhere. Yeah. So here's the thing. I'm looking here because I've been led to write it. I had a really good feeling about you, sweetheart, last night. I kept seeing you in, and I don't go back and look and see, oh, who liked my likes on. I really don't. I know maybe I should. I just don't and never have. I don't, man. It's almost creepy. I don't go looking into stuff like that. I do what the Lord leads me to do. I don't go looking into, oh. So sometimes it makes it rough because I don't go back and I just go forward. And the only way to do that is to live right here, right now. And sometimes that's not easy considering everything that's going on. But you guys are so worth it. So worth it. Oh, people, if you're led to do something today and it's possible to do it without being, overly manic-y, where it's something that's just you feel like you it's something you want to do, not something that really needs to be done. Like make amends with somebody, or and I'm not insinuating anything with anyone in particular person. It's just this is I'm led to say this. Do it because you never know, man. You never know. And when the reason I say that, those of you that already know you and know me know why I'm saying this. Because I could have got to them kids by now, just like my buddy Kenny that's really struggling right now. And his brother helped me a lot when I was just a little kid. I wasn't able to defend myself up at Parkside, and he pounded old Robinson. That was another bike I forgot I left out, the Robinson, and he used to pound him for me. Love old Thomas Brown and Kenny, which is all going to come into play. He's struggling. And it's really weird because the same weirdo's kid, the same weirdo that got him, his kid got someone I really love, and another person, which ended up the trailer dude, the TikTok. It was crazy on how that all also was a twisted ass circle. That was that was a damn that was that, and they were definitely. And yeah, you pull out of that, that's great, whatever. But that's just I have no understanding. And although I don't, I'm not gonna force a physical a violent judgment on someone like that, although unless I caught someone in the act of doing that. No, I don't believe in, because I've seen people snap out of it when they have the right messenger delivering and illustrating a message, uh, a message that plays out in this messenger's everyday life that would gain trust enough to say, this isn't what I've, this isn't what is accompanied what I've heard from people that have said and used the word God. Well, it's God, all right, but it's not the God. It's just a God. So this song that uh, a lot of you know it, because I got a lot of stuff there's a lot of songs I want to write and sing, and there's a lot of people I want to incorporate, because this vision that I seen incorporates so many people. It's there, the Lord has, it's been leading me to say there's no big I's and little U's in this. There's people that are so, like I said, that it's not the potency. He's already here in some senses. You guys please understand this. It's in magnitude. The potency's coming through the magnitude. The potency was there, came as a lamb, and the magnitude is coming as the lion through us. Tribe of Judah, right up there, right here. It starts right there, because there's life and death in the tongue. That's why it's not what goes in, but what comes out of your mouth. Now, I don't believe we're talking about pork here, because where did Yeshua, or Yeshua, it depends on who was calling him, where did he cast the legion? Into the swine, right? Well, so like stuff that I can sit and think about, like all that food. So I posted that thing on Saltwater Park, because a lot of that stuff you can see, that little creek that runs through there. You should see some of the stuff that I've caught out of there in little pockets where it's deeper. Well, it was running a little bit better than that. Oh man, it was amazing. But yeah, I'm it's just a lot of people getting together on this LOL, this lighting of the lamps, and I didn't ever know there was an LOL, and I didn't. My son says, "Well, no, Dad, they've been using that a while," and I said when I was led to watch that Oprah and drawing those pictures that are I posted, they're all stained up. Well, I've drawn a lot of stuff, painted and drawn in watercolors and all kinds of beautiful stuff that I would just either throw away before I was done, or somebody would say, "Hey, I can have that," because they knew that I was fixing to throw it away, because I didn't deserve to have anything beautiful be produced by somebody that had not only no identity, but whatever little identity I was able to find within my hollow and slowly dying self. I I would just string up over a, yeah. I had no self-worth. I would throw away stuff. I couldn't finish anything and get any type of, that's why that candy had to go, because I didn't deserve that candy. Why would you send me candy, Nita, Maxine? Why? Same reason why I went and spent those days there and had an awesome time. The most awesome time. And I know what my word says, and we claim to serve the same God, but yet we're obviously on two different, we live two different lifestyles, yet we can still love each other and 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 have no snide remarks or anything like that. What a beautiful thing. And you know what? It all started it all started with somebody was praying. Somebody had to have been. And I'm starting to find out that more than just one person. It's more than just my dad, who was so troubled. Just like this little eulogy that I had I had wrote for him, for when had to release his body when I was in Walla Walla not long ago. Um, and here's what's crazy, like I said, is Tammy, the boys is whom I said I want to help with, I know with what burden they're carrying, because you guys know that, no, She passed away after I've been told over and over in my head, stop and see her. I told her I was going to see her, and when I said something, I always did it. Except no, that's not true. Because I used to tell my children I was gonna quit doing drugs. I was gonna quit, and I really meant it. They knew I was a good person. They just knew I was messed up. And after a while, you promise somebody something so long, like Chicken Little, and after a while, yeah, you got it. I'm gonna pause this once it's 3 o'clock because I have. Excuse me, people. I'm not trying to be rude, but I got to check this out because I got a bunch of stuff that's going on, and I love you guys, but you know how it. So, I got because I got this attorney and all kinds of stuff going on, and um, let's see, where was I? So anyway, that song, that song I was gonna sing. That's where I got trailed off too a little bit, which is fine about the movement of this LOL thing in Maine and the whole Oprah and turning myself in, which I did after being on the run 4 years, but going and getting a little culinary art thing, and that's why I left Joe. That's why I left you, Joe. It's not that I didn't want to stay. And he used to always come by and say, "Too legit to quit," and they would have that music on, and I would be singing that word for word, and they were all mesmerized. And they'd turn it off, and I'd still be singing it. It's like, how in the hell? And they had that Down syndrome kid, like I said, and he was a man actually. And I think he retired from there. And that dish room was not easy, and he was there every day because that was his duty. And we can learn a lot in it. He kept saying it because he knew they were messing with me. He knew. And every time they went into that cooler, when Joe wasn't or he was off doing something else, I ran right in there and said, "Hey, you little, do you want to say that stuff?" And they're like, "What are you talking?" I said, "No, I know, and I know what's going through your." And I knew what they were even. They were like, "How in the hell does this guy know?" And they're like, "Oh, I know exactly." Now I know some of it was just what. That's the other thing, people. They knew also through the fallen ones, the knowledge through the Rephaim, the fallen, the offspring, the Nephilim, or the offspring of which that's why I think's over there, and I'm gonna get to that, but I don't want to do that right now because then it'll be a whole nother. But like I said, I'm gonna pause it when I get to the. I'm not gonna let you go unless we get a bunch of company and it gets too loud. But yeah, so dang, where was I going? I just got because I looked at that dang phone or the TVs and phone. Mister Holland was right this morning with old my big Dan Bedondi, big Dan Bedondi. Oh boy, I probably crossed his path. Oh, that's what I was talking about. The retarded. See, isn't that nice? The Lord brought me. Oh, you can't even go ahead. Go ahead and try to do that. East Coast. Oh, jeez. You can't make that. I can. That's beautiful. Thank you, Father. And Joe. Now they knew. Well, anyway, I'm going to get off that. So I come back, turn myself in, this and that, blah blah blah. But I'm going to get to that song. Oh, these songs that I want to write once I get going. They tried to trip us up. They knew who we were becoming. They knew they were trying to keep us reaching and being paranoid and skitzed out and stuff like that. Because some of that is just demonic prodding, and that mental health is demonic stuff. Whether you really believe it really is, and all the stuff they used to do to them people in northern state. But we got not just Western, we have Northern State. I was there. I was there in Job Corps. You darn right, man. I was, and I'm not trying to get you jealous, but I was dating Vashon and Walika, those two lovely, beloved African girls. Everybody thinks it. They might say, "Oh, he's no, nope." And matter of fact, one turned on the other, and you're not, I thought you guys were friends. Well, and I just, that's why Tawana says, "No, you're not ever gonna." And that's just for my wife to let her know that that's how much I really pay attention. And I joke and say, if it wasn't for that, it wouldn't be no ring a ding ding, ringy dingy, ringy ding ding ding. Like the old Ferris Bueller. That's so cute. So anyway, writing songs, just so many things being built, homes and lives and trust and oh man. And I just pray every day that that vision hasn't already been, because you know I can only do so much by myself, and I'm just gonna say it. I've really, honestly, I've my heart's been in the right spot for many years now, and I'm so people. I'm and I appreciate your prayers. Oh, and Doctor, I felt those, and I felt your guys' prayers, and Casey, and I'm still old Brandy. She's resting, but that 9-year-old little boy, and so many others. Yeah, you're right. Old Tommy Robinson. Speaking of Tommy, isn't that something? And Tommy Brown used to beat up Mike Robinson, the one I was telling you pounded, used to beat me up there and then vice versa. Tommy used to beat him up, and then your old Mr. L was talking about Tommy Robinson. I prayed. Do you know that the Lord led me that old threefold cord through the Spirit? Says, oh yeah, he's getting out. That's why I said, oh, he's already, because he was praying, he's already free. We're just praying for his release, and we're just waiting on his release. And that's why I said we're waiting on his. And he was released. And I wasn't trying to say, well, I did this now. If I was to keep track, see, here's the other thing. This is with the Lord, so that if I was to keep track, you think this book right here, and see, this says the New American Bible. The one that really spoke to me was the New American Standard. But you'd have a book that made this look like a little short story Goosebumps book, just in all the quote coincidences. You'd never, ever be able to house them all, ever. But you're going to know every single one of them. The books are open. They're all in there. They're all right in there, coming down. It's all in process already. So you can't say I've given you my number again, the phone number, the address. It's all good. Don't trip, bacon strip. I get it. I know. I'm an old man. I just don't act like it, and probably never will, because like I told you, I'm a Toys R Us kid, and it wasn't in a creepy way. This isn't the fake little giraffe money we're talking about. Okay, we're talking about when you. Well, anyway, I'm not even gonna break. But the song, it's called it's called "Turn the Page," and it goes. Let me get a little water. Me 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 me. This is one that I used to sing, along with quite a few others that I'll share with you. when I got just a little down in the dumps, and I don't know if I'll do it all. Just I'll just do enough until, or finish the whole thing. And again, I might, when I'm singing a song, I may not even be using the correct lyrics or the correct words, and so don't read into it if it's something, like I said, unless it's directed towards you, unless it's addressed to you. Because see, I don't. I I've had lots of mail that I've passed that's not addressed to me, and I don't open it and read it. That's creepy stuff. That's creepy. On a long, lonesome highway east of Omaha, you can listen to the engine motors roar out one lost song. You think about the woman or the girl you knew the night before. Well, your thoughts will soon be wandering the way they always do when you're riding 16 hours and there's nothing much to do. You don't feel much like riding, you just wish the trip was through. Here I am on the road again. Here I am up on the stage. Here I go playing star again. Here I go, turn the page. Will you walk into a restaurant, strung out from the road, and you feel eyes upon you as you're shaking off the cold? You pretend it doesn't bother you, but you just want to explode. Most times you can hear 'em talk, other times you can't. All the same old cliches. Is it a woman or a man? You always seem outnumbered. You don't dare make a stand. Say here I am on the road again. Here I am up on the stage. Here I go playing star again. And here I go, turn the page. So if you're tired of the same old story, oh, turn some pages, 'cause I'll be here when you are ready to roll with the changes, baby. Don't you know, you got to. Yep, because the time's keeping on rolling, and I'm not getting any younger. Although I am a Toys R Us kid in that aspect, you get what I'm saying. You've watched the video. There's a reason there's a lioness there with him. Did you see? Did you see? He thought she had. She thought he thought she had him. It. Hmm. Boy, they cackle just like witches. Yeah, there's a reason. It's a helpmate. There's a reason. There's an order of things. And there's burdens that, just like John, can you imagine the stuff he sees? Thank you, John. What a blessing. And I don't want to get in, because once I start, like I said, it's a monstrosity of a segment of thankfulness, Thanksgiving, which every day, like I said, sometimes I don't even have to roll over, I just and lift my back up so I stretch because my body it is getting tired. Although my mind doesn't know, so it'll get ground right in until you know that final phase. Otherwise, I'm ready. I'm ready, and I'm going to be with her, whoever that may be. And I believe I know who that is. But either way, no hard feelings either way. And it's not going to be a guilt trip for me, and I'm not going to hear it. And I mean, like I said, I'll acknowledge some foolishness a little bit, but I'm not. And I'll still be there and love you and support you. But I'm not going to be browbeat or not after all that's been done and said, or said and done, depending on how you. But I like Peter. Oh, Gabriel, there's a reason why. There's a reason. There's a reason. And I watch some of them, and I'm like, wow, man, that's awesome. I used to have one of them bikes too. When he was going counterclockwise on that stage. It's all for a reason. I used to have one of them. Those are like for RVs, camping and stuff. That vision. It's just like it all is just coming together. All of it. Did you know Journey's from Perry, Steve and them, I believe are from San Francisco. Long time ago, I went down there. San Francisco, Concord, California. That's going to come into play. And better stay on the camera. That's going to come into play. Some of you might want to look into my eyes. Yep, the light, the heat. So, yeah, Nick Munden, and I know, brother. I know you're depressed, Kenny. I know. I'm trying to get down there. I'm trying to get this truck registered, dude. I got all my stuff. They were supposed to do a global resolution when they unlawfully imprisoned me. That's what they're supposed to do with all the people that they lawfully imprison, which is those are getting far and few between. If you go ahead, now I don't want to get too far off course because we'll get to that chapter. And oh boy, you want to see me get heated? Well, yeah. And it's not going to be good for you, silly slugs. It's not good. You already know. A lot of you are going, oh man, I'm done with this. I already see. He already told. I know this too. Oh yeah. Yep. So don't worry, brother. I know the burden, just like Tammy, just like my dad, right back. See, the Lord brought me right back. Handed me the phone. Same county, same place his body was. They had to finally, I had to release it to the stepdaughter, and had a little eulogy written up and stuff. Boy, we talked a lot. He's like, "Don't worry, we're going hunting." He was pissed. He was pissed off, man. He was like, "What's taking him so long? If you're innocent, what the hell's taking him so long?" I said, "Man." Of course, they got me the hell out of there quick. Well, I can't wait to get to that chapter. Oh, they thought they were going to play. They thought they were going to play poker with me. That's what they thought. And I said, okay. And he went, oh man. I looked over at my counselor because, see, he was my brother Scrappy's counselor. Oh, I can't do it because I'm going to get off course. There goes, what is it? I think it's all those might be ravens. Yeah, we got some ravens. They're way bigger than crows over here. So I know, brother. Don't worry. I love you. If you can do something today, do it. I put off Tammy, and that might be right there. That could have been my key. That could have been my key into that door with them children, which are now adults and been carrying that burden that is not theirs. They don't own that. That's not theirs. That was that demonic uh, uh, cesspool of a flesh of a pus bag that he chose to allow those demonic spirits to pervert his flesh and there's that nut. They always want a nut, and look what he used to get that nut. Isn't that something? Sick. Talk about digging in the dirt, Morocco mold, to get a quick nut that is all being recorded, all of it. Wow. If it doesn't have the blood covering it, you're finito. You might as well forget it, dude. You might as well forget it. So I blew it. I blew it. I blew that. Same county. I just released his body from. Same county. Same county. Same town. They shipped his body all the way down from Morton. Well, Glenoma. But heading up to Packwood. Packwood. You guys knew. I told you I was earning money to go see you there then, Millie. And I know what I know. But still, you should listen to your heart. I don't really, I can't do that song because of that girl. Remember Phaedra? I told you Phaedra? There, full circle. She used to wear that out when she was dating my brother. And I was dating the girl that she was babysitting for, Terry Lee Torrance. Oh, jeez. I'm talking about round hills. Oh, love her, but God, I hope she's changed her ways. Jesus, Lord have mercy. She'd come home, didn't think I'd know, man. I'd like, man, I know you've been out strolling around. Oh, no, I said, no, you don't. Didn't really know. I just knew I knew, but now I know how and why I know all this stuff, right? That's why she's becoming my wife, because I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm not playing. I'm not getting somebody that's I'm not going through all that. Heck no. And she's going to know well enough too that she's not, so her and I are going to be a lot alike in a lot of ways. And it's going to work out so beautifully, because they're going to be talking about it like the first time, every time. That's why this one here is like, you ain't going to ever be with, I'll hunt you and her down. And haven't been with her long before I turned myself in. Yet she sent me to jail with money. And I told her the whole way through, don't do this and that. They bought me packaged. They took care of me because they know the truth. The Lord led them to do it. But of course, I had my daughter and everything, and they come to visit me. But I don't want to get too far ahead, because they had to ruin that one. Satan did too. So he knew I won my appeal, and they had to get me out there in the woods, just like Ronnie. The reason why they weren't sending him out there when he was up beating stuff, and just because he did things a certain way. But what they do by getting your good time, by giving you UAs, bringing dope in, letting it come in, dirty UAs, and you think, well, that would be that would breach security. Not when they got sprayed, which I'm going to tell you, I'm one of the reasons. I was involved in one of the reasons why they do that now. So they let all this stuff come in, and then people get dirty UAs. Guess what it does? It eats up their good time. That means they don't get out. That's why it's a big, yeah, it's all just a big meat market. So they just build more prisons, bring in the drugs, allow them to come in, give you a UA, but they didn't give Ron a UA. And they knew he was high. I knew he was high when I smelt him, when I hugged him. I knew his eyes were pegged. He says, man, I'll bring you some stuff in, but I can fly a drone. I can do all kinds of, and I said, I know, I could shoot a damn golf ball, tennis ball out of a tennis ball deal. Man, we could do so much, been doing it for years if we want to. Hypothetically speaking. Got people that'll bring stuff. How do you think we got Ridgeway stuff out? We run that joint in, if you want, really, until they start telling the Mexicans, these Mexicans, man, we're not. They're going out and around her now. They're going to the man. So they're done buying the dope from the government, DA, and all that. Oh yeah, yeah, because it was just setting the stage. They're just running. Look, and I'm going to brush over all this stuff right now. It's all bull crap. It's all bull crap. come out of her, get out of her. So now, and then now we're gonna get to so forfeited that. Now I'm releasing the body that I would have fought for. I would have fought for to get a good barrel. He was a combat vet, Vietnam. Not to mention all the stuff that he had to put up with Billy before he. Well, good thing the drill sergeant, the drill sergeant's wife, and all that. That's a good thing. Now I'm not into snitching or anything like that because I really truly, you want to call it karma, go ahead. But boy, more than anything, I believe you get what you definitely get what you got coming. You reap what you sow. But yeah, you don't have to really tattle. There's some things you do. You need to speak up for those that can't. And that's why we need our officers and pray for them. Of course, you know how I feel about that, and where it's the system and how it's done brainwashed them into all up there, all up yonder, all up in ya, all up in ya. So let's see what now. Yeah, so don't. I'm trying to get it registered, bro, so I can come down and see you, Kenny. I really enjoyed coming down and seeing. I really love you, man, and I know what's going on because all that weird crap was happening, and you know, I know all about. I know about it. I know. So, and it's just crazy on how that circle of mistrust is so intricately, in a real twisted, broken kind of way. It's intricately woven. Uh, Let me see. I'm going to take a look at this because I had a few other things. Let's see. We did the Moose and Mouse thing with Sherman Brisky Boys. Isn't that neat, too? That's the home of the applets and cotlets. I told you we didn't get any. We also didn't get to ride any of those motorcycles. There was 12, a dozen, little trail, little Honda 90s or something that got my mom to get me, because this is right before I was made a word to the court, actually. This was the last ditch effort. This is when I had the Gene Slumber pedophilia ranch. There were all them motorcycles, and his fat ass rode them through one of them through the orchard, and I don't know why he did it, but we never rode them. The only thing we did, like I said, we would push game, elk and stuff like that towards them up the canyon, and that bear that would come down and eat out of the orchard and they would get drunk and go through the trash can and stuff. But I like that. When I protested, they got me out of there. But yeah, so yeah, those they were riding the kids. They weren't riding those, and they were all them damn motorcycles, brand new. They were beautiful red. I remember the wing, little broken wing. Take this broken wing, applets and cotlets. The bigger kids upstairs, which he wasn't diddling with them. They would have pounded the shit out of him. But he would tell some real good, scary stories in that house. They're still there. We went and visited. Me and my brother visited both of them, Sherman and Brisky Boys, both of the homes. Beautiful homes. That one, he'd tell some real whoppers. Some real whoppers. Eesh. He'd tell some whoppers, and the kids would go upstairs. The older kids smoke out their windows, sneak their girlfriends in. I mean, Adam used to drive. Adam had a beautiful girl the family had an orchard down the way, and she would have her horse up, and she would tie her horse off, even in snow, and scale the thing, and they would spend time together up there. But which I always admired, because once I protested his crap, instead of sending me off right away, because he wanted to see if I was going to say anything. So what he did is he put me up in Adam's room, and he said, "Now you be quiet." I said, "Oh, I ain't going to say nothing." course, he smoked a little pot with me, and I took a drag of a cigarette, and I had to close my eyes and ears. You know, that was the rule when his girlfriend shimmied up the trellis there. And then I ended up getting moved to the room with the other boys, and I shot a kid with a paper clip and right in his eye. It almost put his eye out. So we all staged this big lie that he rolled out of the bed, and we had to go get a vacuum and everything. And so he rolled out and hit his eye, and his parents came and got him, took him to the hospital down in Wenatchee. But then, you know, when I didn't say anything, finally he said he knew it was okay, or he thought it was okay to send me to, and that's when I got my birthday come, and I got that big box from Nita and Maxine, my beloved aunts over there. But anyway, so yeah, man, I would have had a funeral for him. I know I would have. I would have hustled enough money. They've been just trying to keep us, trying to lock us down. Now it's 2:09. I still got some time because that attorney's supposed to call, trying to get this tort claim. Like I said, my buddy that I just got out that was unlawfully imprisoned over a domestic violence call. Okay, this guy. You want to go potty? Want to go outside? Huh? All right, hang on. I'm gonna let my baby butter boy out. Come on, let's go. Come on. Yeah, I would have had a funeral for him. I would have somehow, but they're trying to, like I said, they're trying to, well, this, you know what's going on, people. So, and it's just things are just a little on the, maybe not as, so yeah, that hurt. And then once I realized that, wow, man, Tammy, which I met Tammy through Tammy Garrow, the native, my son's mother, um, through Tammy. It's just, there's so many. I could just sit and get a lot. That's why, honestly, not only the fact that I'm still puffing on a little bit of weed, and I'm trying to stop doing that. Like I said, my UAs were completely just, were good because they tried tripping me up. See, they wouldn't run because they knew he was about ready to get out, and he was like their secret squirrel slave driver. See, because he could. Everybody looked up to him so much, even though they looked down at him because he was so little, but they looked up to him. That and when I get to that chapter, you want to hear some this other. These are miracles that are about as good as the fact that how I got my son. They looked up to him, and he was like, "Come on, let's go. We got to go to," And so everybody's down there. They're going to work because they know they don't go to work anyway. They're out on the next bus because they come every week. That bus comes in. That whole big old bus comes in because there's all them people with dirty ways are saying, "I'm not doing this. I'm not working. This ain't easy." And then they know it eats them because they know people are just lining up. They overrode my custody. You weren't supposed to go there with the amount of time I had left. They know they can eat up your good time. They know some people are lining up to get there. They're going to have all the. It was ridiculous. They were constantly in training. Those certificates you see that I have on there, constantly in training because they're constantly training new people because they're gone. That's what they come in, they get dibbled up with the drugs, they this and that. People say, "Well, that's their own fault." Well, it's by design. And then it eats up all their good time. They go, and then someone else comes in. They still do the work, and then it eats up their time, and they go, and then it's a huge. And then by the time their good time comes to the point, then they'll come back. You know how many times my brother was in Larch Mountain? Oh, it's crazy. And I tell you these miracles about what happened when I was there. So they use him. It's crazy. It's absolutely nuts. And once I get that elk, don't worry, Madeline. I'm going to send that to you because he was my Jay Madeline, Jerome. He was my instructor. I love that guy. And he may not even like me, but I have a feeling he did because he liked my brother. And his brother was really, really cool. They looked like kind of like twins, but they were completely Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, the same as me and my brother and I. And I remember his brother even saying to me when we were planting trees, I mean, I was on an incline like this, and his brother's like a damn mountain goat. They both are. They're both, they grew up there. Mountains, the Yakult down in Vancouver. These guys are damn mountain goats, excuse my language. And, but he was up there on an incline like that with me, saying, hey, just getting some small talk, And he said to me, he said, amen. Because I told him, I'm here because the Lord sent me here and stuff. And I said, you and we're going to meet again. We're going to meet again. And he said, amen. He knew. He knew it was so beautiful because, And then his brother said to another crew foreman that came up that hadn't seen me yet and said, look at this. Look at this. Look, show up. Take your hat off. Take your hat off. Look, doesn't that look just like Scrappy? Doesn't that look like Scrappy? And I said, yeah, and so I sat and I talked to him, and I don't sit and make too much small talk because these are crew foremen, and even though we're in the back, there's only one head guy up front that's an inmate. We don't get too chummy with him because, my brother has told them all, hey, listen here, man. You're not paying me you're not talking to me that way. You can't pay me enough for you to talk to me that way. And another thing, you're not even paying me minimum wage. But yet you got me doing stuff you're paying state workers $38 an hour to be up here doing this stuff. More, actually, way more, probably $50 an hour. You think I'm kidding. But we're doing stuff that, oh God, I want to tell you, but I will. I'll get to that. Oh, these people they're just something else, man. They're something else. So, matter of fact, you know something? I'm going to go put my hair back real quick because it's starting to irritate me a little bit. I'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, bud. All right. Let's see if this will focus back in. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Right on. So, all right. So, yeah, it's all just a big. When I get to that chapter, it'll be. It's a humdinger. It's a it's a it's a whoop ding. Um, but so back to the story, and I love you, Kenny, and I'm trying. I'm trying to get the thing registered. It's just like I said, the Satan is quite a. Hopefully you'll be drawing them flowers shortly. But that's real nice artwork. It's pretty cool, pretty nice. Although I love you and I'm concerned. And praying for you. So now me and Tawana, have Donnie, which they were going to take. They were fixing to take Donnie. They told me we were coming to get him today. They were probably, that's why that Samoan didn't want to give him up, because they're the ones that called. Then I found out, because check this out, I had nowhere to go. So me and Tawana, my new girlfriend, the one that went over to Minnesota to look for Donnie, guess where we went? There was only one available. Welfare helped us find a place because we had nowhere to go. I couldn't take him to the tent, right? So guess where we went? The only shelter that was available. People, you're going to really, really think this is amazing. Well, maybe not. I do. I still do. That Jarvie Salvation Army shelter that was kitty corner. So you could look it up. I think it is Sheridan. Oh my gosh, I think it is Sheridan. And we lived on 527 East Sheridan. Here, lay down so you don't hit the thing. Lay down, lay down, lay down. There you go. Good boy. So we lived on Sheridan, and I think Tammy was on Sheridan. So you could look. You could Google it and look. But because that Jarvie, that shelter's been there a long time, that Salvation Army. And that's why I said it's a church. Because they used to take us there. Well, anyway, that was the only place it was. So here we are with Donnie, that I've now got custody of, just like that, through CPS. They just said, here you go, because we're legally married. Oh, she called the cops. She said all kinds of stuff. And the CPS said, no, that the man's got his boy. That's it. Oh, we were doing all this and that. And he said he had already told us all that. He was honest with us. You hadn't been. And you had a lot of calls coming in. You remember that pepperoni? That's all she was feeding him. She would go to Pinch's Deli. But anyway, right across the street was the only available spot. Go lay down, son. Go lay down. Go lay down, Jackie. Go lay down. Go. So here we are, and there's a little playground, which is, and I kid you not, we're talking, I'm trying to get the yardage out the window here. We're talking maybe 45 yards, 47 yards. 47 yards from where Donnie is playing with it's a cyclone fence, with the privacy slats, the plastic slats. And I'm looking at Tammy. And they're still doing drugs. And she's still got stuff going on right after I just took Donnie. We're there right now. Not even day had elapsed. The sun hadn't even set yet. And she's still back to her old shenanigans. Now remember, she's getting evicted. So I'm watching all this go on. Come to find out through the grapevine, as it were, up there, because I got to know Shaibi, and Pinch, this Korean that I never stole from him, because I was still into dirt, but I never did. He knew Donnie, and he told me she was feeding him nothing but the old boy Alberta. We got an old boy Alberta thing. That's why he loves pepperoni. That's why I make so much stuff for him, because he likes that, because that's all she would get him, the poor little boy, because that's what she could buy with her foodies, with her food stamps, when she wasn't selling them. So yeah, that Shivey told me, yeah, she said, and then all of a sudden somebody told me also through the grapevine, little bird, go over there, all her stuff, because he's throwing all her stuff out there, the little Donnie's baby book and stuff, and I still have it. And her and I had that baby book, and it was a lot of nice stuff. But then once I took him, she started writing stupid stuff in there. So I grabbed that, and I left the stupid stuff and pictures of her throwing up gang signs and wearing a mask. She's got a bandana. I'm not going to say what color. And so all you can see is her eyes, right? And I knew it was her, of course. So I kept all that. So I kept everything that she left. And she went to California. She said she wanted to go where the rocks were bigger. I kid you not. That's why I kept telling Don, look, She didn't leave you because he kept thinking that maybe there was something wrong with him. So he didn't tell me that, but I knew that because I know I carried that same burden around being abandoned. My mom, believe me, old man, and way worse. You know, that was the beginning of my little trip. You know, you guys don't even know part of it. Oh, God. But it's getting better. The Lord's going to provide me with a wife that I can actually just love. And it's going to be a love that's going to blow my first love, Bonnie, completely away. And he said that was just to get you through, son, just to get you to where we're at right now. She's coming soon. Oh, God, she's coming real soon. I can feel her and taste her. And I'm not trying to be weird. I'm not even trying to go there. That's not where my heart's at. But like I said, something would just fall right out of something would happen. That's how much faith I got. That's why I'm where I'm at and where I'm going, where I'm going. It's same with you people. That's why I'm doing this, because I love you. Otherwise, I'd be down there at you know where I'd be. I'd be down there. But I don't have to be doing this. I want to be, yes, but yes, I do have to be, because this is my calling. And I wouldn't have it any other way before. But before this, oh God, I'd be trying to look for a big enough fish to just swallow me up and digest me. So, you know, yeah, it's just so much, people. It's so beautiful, really. So I'm going to be getting a call, like I said, maybe in about 30 minutes here, and I'm going to pause this. I'm going to be pausing this throughout because I'm doing this live. This is live, live, live. I'm going to be around there. I want to help do that. If I can get there in time I'm working on it, people. It's just the enemy has really pulled out all the stops, and now they're really concentrating on other things. You know, they're target focusing us prophets. And you know what? A lot of you people are prophetesses. A lot of you people have a lot of gifts that you're just starting to come into your own revelation of. Don't sell yourself short. It ain't about reaching. It's not about, okay, here, all of a sudden now you guys, like they told me, okay, everybody now, you've got tongues. Everybody speaks in tongues. And if you don't speak in tongues, you don't have the Holy Spirit. That's not true. That's not true at all. Just like the unnumbered. Do you understand? Just like there's a reason why it's unnumbered. But yet he just told you what the 144,000 were, which even that is not even completely, won't be understood until it's understood. But they definitely are the martyrs. They definitely are the ones that haven't defiled themselves with women or men. They're virgins. Those are the ones, the 140. There's not, we're not talking about the elect or the chosen or the ones that are becoming as we speak and counting. That number is unnumbered because it is unestablished yet. It is in process. And the condition is not critical for those. The prognosis is looking quite glorious and bright and very. The longevity is just, it's taking flight. It's soaring, as it were, on wings of eagles. You want to talk about, do you want to talk about broken wings? Oh gosh, baby, people, beloved. I'm working on getting a better camera and a better mic also. This one here and this, oh, they did some pretty neat. It's crafty, but here's the thing. I'm not giving up. I could be doing something else, but I can't now because I'm in love. Now for my carnal earthly wife, I'm hoping, praying, been doing that for years. But now we're we're at that precipice now where you're going to have to address that. You're going to have to make a decision, or the decision if you haven't, then you've already made it, and it's going to be, you have made it. So it's not even going to be made for you. You won't be able to say anything. You just be loved and appreciated anyway, in any way. So it's just not like that. We won't. There won't be any. there won't be, let's see, that song just went through my head. And she said, "Don't have me on lies and keep your hands to yourself," by uh, Fogerty. You know what I'm talking about. Don't put my love upon the shelf and don't have me no lies and keep your hands to yourself. Yeah, that's what it is. It's John Fogerty. John Fogerty. That's right. He was in Dire Straits. Dire Straits. I think that's when he was in Dire Straits. And don't read into all of them the songs, baby, because I'm serenading you, or I believe that's you, my wife. I sure hope so. Lord, the Lord's gonna have to, and He will forgive me for. There was two. Their movie night, and then you know what one? The one Tori said after she was gonna go. That old bathing ourselves in just the idea that, okay, if it's really like I'm seeing, then let me see if this could actually happen. And it did, didn't it? Because my heart it felt like it was about ready to fly right out of my chest. The Lord said, "Oh, son, this is just the beginning. You've worked hard. You've earned all them. Those scars, they're not going to be, they're not going to be untouched and soothed and recognized and healed by the loving touch of your beloved bride here, right here, my fleshly bride, also, and counting bride. But that's also, we're all going to be part of that. It's all one big, beautiful family. And like I said, I seen it. I've seen a lot of things. It's still happening. It's count. There's souls being salvaged as we speak, and it's losing. Do you see how it's losing? Do you see? It's all been just a big. It's all been a joke to it, but it's literally just having to try anything at, it's throwing anything at the wall to see if it'll stick. Now it's just because it sees all the people and it hears all the prayers, and the more that goes up, the more that comes down. It says the prayers of the righteous, and what goes up must come down. And when they're not falling on deaf ears anymore, because the potency, which is returning through the magnitude, is resonating in Yahweh, our heavenly creator's ears, and also being entertained by the angelic heavenly host for our benefit, for his glory. See, he created all this for his honor, glory, and praise. It just so happens the reason he created us in his image is so he could have us seed eternity here. He's coming back through us. And those angels are always going to be. They're always going to be, except the fallen. They're going to always be mocked. They're going to be down. Well, you already know. Some of you have had a taste of that. You've traversed, You've spelunked. you've done a little spelunking, little cave dwelling. But no, people, this is amazing. Every Sabbath. You notice how they shut everything down on the first. You notice how they always mock Sabbath too. You notice that? Do you even know? Do you recognize what they do? See, that's the thing. It's the opposite. It's the absence of something true. Watch what they're doing. Watch what they're saying. It's the absence of whatever's true. They're telling you everything, and they've been doing it for years. It's just now you're able to see it because the hidden is becoming apparent and relevant, and you're becoming aware of it through the faith. Because, like I said, It always finds its level. And the bread, that's being a good host. So, so let me get right back to the story. So, Twana and I have Donnie, which is a completely a miracle. We're across the street at the shelter that I was led to pay attention to, watching her still do in her psychosis with the gangs and doing all the cooking the dope in the house that I just got the boy out of, which I also helped dig with that shovel of mine, helped dig some of them ditches. And um, I was watching her as I was playing with Donnie. I was watching her just yards away, and she's still there in the same place. They came and told me, a little bird told me, yeah, she's heading down. She's not there anymore. Because I went and got his baby book and some of his clothes and stuff. Because like I said, Mike Gunter, he was serving me the eviction papers. That's what she was doing at the check cashing. I had no business being there. Do you see how I cried out that just 24 hours before, if you're alive and living, you have to, if you're real, you got to show me, because this is it. And boy, he sure did. Talk about, go get him, buddy. It's the dog. So yeah, it was just amazing. They were going to take him. They were going to take him. So she's heading. She heads down to California where the rocks are bigger. True story. And I pray for her. I've been trying for years because I thought she had died. Otherwise, I would have never married Mouth, with all due respect. And the only reason I did that is because I needed to get my kids out of the snow in Maine. Because, you don't want to be homeless in Maine. Matter of fact, there is really no homeless. They don't let you go homeless in Maine. That's one of the nice things about the citizens of Portland. People are just awesome. They were always awesome when I was there, and I'm sure they're just as awesome now. But yeah, so here we are across the street. She's heading to California. I go retrieve some of the stuff she's gonna just leave, that Mike, the owner of the house, and he did end up evicting the people up top too. They were all doing, they were just doing dirt, not paying their rent. That's how I seen her at the check cashing place, which just amazing, that that little store that normally cashes those Troger checks, is a payee, still there. That attorney, I believe, is still there on Tacoma Avenue. Didn't have not only at one store, but at two stores, which took us to that check cashing place at that exact time to where I would see Tammy. It's just, if I hadn't seen all I had and have already, then, oh, hello, then I wouldn't believe it. But it's just amazing, and it's going to get better. It is going to get better. So, and then I'm going to take a break, people, in a few, because I got this attorney calling me. It's 2:36 right now, so I got this attorney. I'm trying to get this tort claim going because, man, they've been me off every way to keep me from getting around to everybody, because I love you people and they don't want us embracing. But that's not going to happen now, is it? Because I'd be registering that truck and getting moved and doing what I need to do. So yeah, we're right there, across the street. The only available bed space for a family of 3, 2 adults and 1 child, is at the Jarvie Salvation Army shelter, right there on the hilltop, across the street from the place I just hours before took my son. Just a miracle. It's just one miracle after another. It was amazing. And those Samoans, that's why they didn't want to give, those beloved Polynesian people, they did not want to give Donnie to her, because they knew she was leaving him there for weeks. And then when she did have him, oh God, the people that were over there, it was bad news. And then Mike coming to hand me the eviction. It was all just, it was all, the timing was absolutely Swiss, beyond, beyond, it's just beyond masterful time craftsmanship. It's just amazing. But like I said, I'm letting this roll because my daughter just went and had that beloved little Lily Hope, Hazel. My oh, Cecilia, I love her. She's my prayer warrior. God, I love that little girl. I remember when I went to she was in 6th grade. I went to, and we were in Happy Valley. I went to a dance with her, and all the girls invited. It was for the fathers, and I was able to dance with her. I have pictures of it, and it just made me cry like a baby. It was so amazing. I'd be lying if I said I didn't a little bit regret, you know, not being able to see what I know now enough to get the hell out of what I was in, excuse my language, so that I could at least offer her a little bit of some sort of normality, because, the consequences of my actions are, the fruits of that are apparent in her. And I don't need to say what. It's just, it's either obvious for those that have spiritual eyes or just know. We all struggle with our own different things, some far and few between, and thank the good Lord, but it's a process. So, but yeah, here we had little Donnie, and they were going to take him. They were going to take him. Of course, she called the law and said I kidnapped him and stuff. But the fact of the matter is that the Lord had placed me right in that position, right at that certain time, and I wasn't I was nothing to write home about it at that time, at that point in time in my life either. Um, but the Lord knew way more. He knew better than he knew. He knew what needed to be done and when it needed to be, when it needed to take place. So it was just amazing. And so then we moved from there to Billy's, my birth mother, in Cobble Court, and I'll never forget. She got angry and kicked us out right after I just gotten Donnie, and our stay in the shelter was up. Tammy was already down in California, where I guess she's still there in the same tent, as far as I know, all these years later. I'm serious. Yuba City, California. And I can't tell you how I know that, because I just, because it might involve somebody that works at Social Security. And I mean, I've tried to go down there and even find her to help, to have her go talk to her son, so he doesn't think that she just left him, you know, because I wasn't always the kind of guy that could be trusted by my children. Now they trust me like there's no tomorrow, but I wanted him to know that as he was growing up, because I know how that is to have somebody abandon you and stuff like that. So, I wanted her to, wanted him to know that I took him, and I was blessed and gifted with that little boy. So in a lot of ways, he's still, and like we all are. So, yeah, we had him. She went down to California, and so I started feeling a little freer to walk the streets, because it's not that I was afraid of her, but she was involved with some people that where I was also going to be involved in the Crips and Bloods and all of that up there on the hilltop. And they were, like I said, they were rocking up their stuff there and then hitting the streets to distribute it. So a lot of stuff, not stuff a child should be seeing, was going on. And I didn't want to walk around, but I got filled in by Peter from Pinch's Deli, and then Shivy's and all that she had flew the coop and went down with a bunch of other people to California, and there she still is, I guess, in her tent, because I friended her on Facebook. That's how I knew that she was even still alive. And she says, are you married? It says you're married. And I said, yeah. Are you alive? I didn't want to be rude. You're alive, huh? And then I found out, through the, yeah, and then she's still in it, supposedly in a tent. And I said, he says, I'm not supposed to. So, like I said, I'll just leave that, like, lay where that's at. And I said, well, thank you. So she is in Yuba City. Well, I said, look, I need to come down and talk to you. And I had made a trip down to Your Royal Highness's, Donna, the one that had the fire pass over her house. Yet it got my prophet friends. Isn't that amazing on how that works? Burnt the whole top of the roof that I helped put on through Meeks. I'm gonna tell you, that's a whole nother miracle. I brushed over that last time. So we have Donnie. We get to Cobble Court. She kicks us out. Buses aren't running. This is what the Satan loves to do, things like this. He's been doing this all my life. Now I've got a second generation of the good glory of the coming of our heavenly creator, right? Right here, right now, as we're becoming, all of us. And she waited. She waited until those buses didn't run. She booted me out. And I'm too proud to just call anybody. And that's the other thing the enemy has worked my mind with. Like I said, just like the friends I would be at, and they'd start having scheduled dinner earlier and earlier because they wanted to feed little Donnie Steen. Yet they, and I would keep leaving, and turning that kind, because I didn't feel like I deserved it, type thing. Well, that's all brainwashing. So, and will cause you to even cause other people to maybe people you love, even unbeknownst, because you don't have that education, and you'll be taking them right down that same dead end path, or just at least a path. Maybe it could be incorporated in a path to eternity. Excuse me, I don't mean to. I'm trying to get it to stand for this, but it could cause a lot of unnecessary harm along the way. So she kicks me out, and I don't call anybody because I had to get out of there, so I didn't flat. Because here I am starting to realize, oh my gosh, she's doing the very same thing to my child. I just got custody of him, and you're kicking us out. We're homeless. You've done this shit to me all my life. Excuse my language. Abandonment, just abuse and torture. And then are you looking at me? And of course, yeah, look at me. They want to suck it right out of you. They want to suck it right out of you. Excuse me, I got to check this out. Just real quick, people. So they want to just suck it right out of you. It's like a Ouija board. If you allow, it'll just suck it right out of you. And they feed like a succubus or incubus. It'll just get it right out of you when you're sleeping, but they want it when you're conscious. It's that probably like, that adrenal thing. It's that weird, which I'm not going into detail with right now. There's a lot of people that can explain that better, but they're pretty well on the money. So out I went, me and the boy and Tawana, on the streets of Auburn, about 1:30. It was summertime. It was summertime. Well, you remember it was summertime because I got Donnie, so you can't even make that up. It was summertime, and I remember that because I'm feeling it right now. It was warm. I just kept him wrapped up in my coat, and we're at 7-Eleven right down from Cobble Court. She was working at the Boeing plant there, and so I'm walking, and Tawana's like, how could she do that to you? And she's supposed to be your pay and all this and that. And I'm like, look, this is. I didn't really know what to say because, I just had gobbled that goo so long that, my own throat was an open tomb, and but I'm pissed. Oh, I can't say I wasn't. I was so angry. And my little boy, he's just smiling and just walking along. I'm holding this, and he's getting tired. And God, that poor little kid, man. All the walking he's done. Oh God, I've apologized to him. People, if there's a change that needs to be made, and you need to make it, do it right now. Don't wait. But I sat there right at 7-Eleven, and there's that train track going right over, right there. 7, it's still there. Just went by it the other day, and I thought about that actual, and I've been by that millions of times, but there, that point, I was right at that time and place, like I am now, sitting there with my little boy and Tawana here to the right, and this guy just comes out of nowhere. I mean, it's quiet. It's real quiet because the Auburn cops, they're not playing. If you're tweaking, you're not on the streets. And not in this day and age anyway. You're in your house, and there was a lot of it going on, but you weren't on the streets down there. Not in Auburn. Not in that year, because they made sure of it. So I'm sitting there. Nobody's on the streets, and occasional, graveyard worker going in to the Boeing, and just out of the blue, just out of nowhere, comes this dude and says, "Hey, you guys need a ride?" And I says, "Yeah, but I don't. Where I need to go, it's quite a ways. You're not going to." He goes, "I didn't ask. I didn't ask." Just like this, all the people that have said, "I didn't ask where." It's like the game warden down the street here. He said, "I didn't ask where you lived. I just said, where do you need a ride? And I'm going to take you wherever you need to go." And and I said, "Well, yeah, I need to go into Gramps. I swear, I didn't even think about this as I'm telling you this." Oh, it's amazing. Ugh. So, Linda Luby, that's where I used to get my doobie. Linda Luby, that's kind of where I met, and that's where I met me and Rachel Maddox, where I met Tawana, who was living with, had baby Lazy and all them, the little bloods that I got into. So all ties together. Right down here in Fur Meadows, still there. Now, of course, Tawana's aunt lives there and owns a house. It's just crazy. You can't make this stuff up at all. Of course, her and I don't get along too well because her and I are different kinds of Christians, and we're both real outspoken. It's just, you know, when you got Babylon and truth, it's just not a very fair poker game. So they don't come around much. Anyway, so right there in Fur Meadows, I said, "Well, he goes, "Well, I'm going to take you all the way." Sure enough, guy gives us a ride all the way to my weed dealers. That's the only place I thought to go with my son, and she lets me pitch a tent. Oddly enough, in her front yard because she has a paraplegic. No, she has cerebral palsy. Gwendolyn. Uh, I just love so much. She was a beautiful. Actually, she still is. I think she's married and now with another paraplegic. And they're doing just fine as far as I know. Real cute girl. She kind of had a crush on me, but and she'd never let just anybody come to her house, but she loved us so much, and she'd let certain people come to her house because she loved Gwen, and she wasn't just your regular little dope dealer. She had her stuff together, and her family owned that bunch of property around. She was really a neat lady, but she let me pitch a tent there, and how could your mom do that to you? And I said, and especially this time of morning, by that then it was, I think I might even have stayed up while they were out in the tent sleeping and had a little coffee with her. But she was in a little tiny place herself, and she couldn't. But we ended up getting. Where did we end up moving after that? We ended up getting a place. That's right. We ended up getting a place at a at the Towers. The Towers on Yakima, right across from the Armory, right where I took a picture of the same clothes that I had on. For a reason I did. It was almost kind of. It was just a little. I don't know. The Lord led me to do it. Before I handed myself over to the Dragon a while back, right there, same parking lot, kitty corner. I got a place. And the owner's name, I remember his name. It's kind of important because I need to send him a thank you letter, because it's hard to rent a place when you are an ex felon. They don't, it's not easy to get a place, but he rented to me anyway. and he was refurbishing the whole tower right across from Bates Technical College, and we moved in there, and the neighbor they were telling us some stuff that had happened in there, and how could we live in there, and I said, well, look, I don't know what happened in there. That's not my call. That's not. I'm not afraid of ghosts. I like Casper, sweetie. I like little Casper, and I don't care if they broke your nose. Shit, they've tried to break my nose. They've torn my clothes, but so we were there for a while. Of course, I was up to my madness, just right back to my madness, and I don't want to go too much into detail, but let's just say I got into a safe while the store was open and operating, and I left them most of their money. I just took enough to buy a truck and a few other things and get us out of that where we were at, because we were right smack dab up on Hilltop pretty much. And I'd been running around with the Crips up there and stuff. I'd started running around because I knew, like I said, even though I was from King County, born in King County, and was there in 1211 East Alder, that was the juvenile in King County, and there was only one juvenile in King County for all those people, and there's only one juvenile for Pierce County, which is like the Progress House. It's also / where they send people halfway house when they get out of prison here if you reside in Pierce County. So the reason I say that is that but they only have Echo Glen, Mission Creek, Green Hill, Nacelle, Maple Lane, all those institutions that house all the different counties problem children that get sent up. So you could very well know people from different counties if you're in trouble and in the system, even if you don't live in that same county. That's the reason I'm bringing that up. And so people knew me because me and my brother look a lot alike. And plus I, had been in the system. And so they just know. And that's how I say, that's why that book, they put the boots to that. We're fixing their wagon wheel. We're literally fixing their wagon wheel why it's on spinning backwards for them, why it's going right where it's headed with all their stuff, everything. We're just going to go ahead and we're packing them up and we're moving them out. Head them up and moving them out. Rawhide. But so I knew people up there. They say, hey man, Steen, what's up, man? And I say, hey, what's going on with you? And they're like, oh, not much. And now most everybody's involved in a gang now. And so let's see, it's 2:56. I might have to shut this down pretty soon, but I'm gonna keep it rolling. I'm keeping it. What is that? Anyway, let's see what this is. Let's see. So I might have to shut this down, but I'm gonna keep it. I'm just gonna pause the mic part of it and then the camera, and then I'll just conduct my business, and then I'll come back on. So you might get a little pause because we're running now about 2 hours, and this is how we roll. This is how we do this. So when we're out healing people, raising people from the dead, casting out demons, blessing those, and prophesying, okay, all this beautiful symphonic harmonious healing and telling our test and healing with the interpretation of revelations through our testimony. Oh, people, it's beautiful. Oh, it's going to be great. So we're going to have to just let it roll anyway. We might be going for days. Of course, we're going to sleep, and then we're doing this. The harvest is plentiful, people. The laborers are few, and counting. It's increasing. So in a tent, now we get a place. I'm doing dirt, and I get another one of the owner. I had his name. His name is yeah, I just slipped my mind because he's really a neat guy, and uh he's still renting to he owns a bunch of stuff, and and I meant to get a hold of him. He ended up marrying he had a really a troubled, real not a very good situation going on, and he needed to separate. It was a legit deal. You know, you can hand a wife a certificate of divorce if they've defiled the marriage bed. And he ended up marrying a younger, very faithful, very good. And they mocked him, but he has a beautiful family now. He's an older guy. He's but he's come along. He's done. He does a lot of real good stuff for people. So I move into one of his other facilities, his apartment further up Pacific, um, 84th and Pack Avenue, right down from Fred Meyer's, where later on down the road I ended up heckling that gay that the dyke lesbian, whatever you want to call it, the rainbow girl, and ended up swiping her bike really because she pissed me off, and I wanted to, and she couldn't believe it. She was like, she knew it, she just couldn't believe that I had just, after all the taunting I did, and then turned around and stole her bike. She couldn't believe that right there. I Well, I don't even want to say it. I think that ruined her. I'm serious. I really kind of think that probably if you first don't succeed, we'll try and try again. I think she went back to I want to be a cowboy and you can be my cowgirl. I think she went back to dating men. I'm not kidding you. I really think that if this guy just did all this, I'm gonna have to rethink this little taco box I've been snacking. Something's going. I'm gonna have to go back to Wiener Snitches, lad. I'd seen that. Hello, lad. Well, hello. I seen it, but I wasn't really paying. I know I need to pay more attention. It's not that I'm, for being. Oh, it's three straight up. It's three right on the knot. So that phone rings, ring a ding ding. Oh, hey. Oh, there it is. Okay, I'm going to pause this. I love you people. I'll be right back. Yes?
Hey, is this Royce Dean?
Yes, it is. Can you hold just one moment, please?
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you. Right on. Nice to be back, guys. Just got off the phone with this attorney, and he's gonna see what he can do. That's all we can do. Just one step at a time. Anyway, so I have my son. We're now moved to another apartment of. God, I almost had his name again. And across from, or about 84th and Pacific. And then I start hanging with my brother. Gets out of Shelton. I go and pick him up in my truck and end up doing some dirt. I ended up going to jail for a little while. Ended up in that armory, actually. In that very armory. They were using that for overflow. For the Pierce County Jail. Called it the Dog Pound. Because all the, it was just all just chain link fence in there and a bunch of bunks. It was the military, the armory there. Nice old brick facility. Really neat looking. Real neat structure. But not very nice to be housed in. It's extremely loud. Definitely loud. And not very easy to get because I like quiet when I sleep. I don't like noise. Don't care too much for noise. Pardon me. Woo! So anyway, yeah, we're in the apartment. I'm up to my shenanigans again. My brother and I were kind of hanging around each other a little bit. Except even when I was doing my dirt, there was just some stuff like, I mean, we were both adrenaline junkies, and I did stuff. I was quite the the thief when it came to. I like to go into establishments that sell, let's say, older stuff, and take stuff because in my little mind, I was thinking, crime boss was always a victim. Somebody's stuff. We're just stewards of it anyway. Whether we're a good steward or not, I guess is a whole nother ball of wax. Speaking of wax, you know what's going to happen if our bees are gone? All our bees, what they're trying to do right now, we're done. I know it might seem insignificant, and it is in some ways, but it's not. It's all one big ball of wax. So I'm going to try to come down and visit you. I'll get back into the journey, into the story, but I'm going to be led to say some stuff. I kind of got thrown a little bit off track, not much, because I had to read the judges. I had to go back into some very dark hours there just not long ago. Read some stuff from paperwork. It just kind of brings me back to that. Just crazy. Just nuts. Once I get to that chapter 2, you'll understand why then. Why would they allow the drugs? And some say, well, drugs are just coming in. Yes, some of them are, but very few. Most of them are just, they're being brought in. If it would compromise the security of a prison, well, there are people in positions that don't really care. They've got other agendas, and these people that are the wind-up little toy soldiers that are kicked into that, they also equip them now with stuff to where it doesn't matter how, volatile the threat is, it can be neutralized with gas. Like chem shield, like, stuff that makes pepper spray look stupid. But I believe they use pepper spray also. But So yeah, that's it. It kind of just got me off a little bit. I'm trying to, I mean, off track. It's kind of off course just a little bit because I'm thinking about all these different things, all these different irons in the fire that I got going, and how the Lord is teaching me to just be patient, which can be extremely difficult considering, I know the time and everything, but there's certain things, if I'm not patient in certain areas, these other things aren't going to come. So it's kind of a ripple effect. But yeah, we end up moving from there up on 84th and Pacific, and we headed. Where did we head after that? We went to. Where did we move to after that? We ended up moving. Well, before we moved, while I was still living in 84th, took my son. He was about this time. He was probably, we've had him now, well, since Yakima, and then the apartment by A&W. We'd had him now, and then the little bit of time we were in the shelter and then bouncing around. We'd had him a year or so. So he was close to 4. I'd take him camping up in Ellensburg. Still trying to find some of that Ellensburg blue because I like, I'm not necessarily a rock hound, but like I said, I've been known to screen out some crystals and sell them at the flea market for like $1. People buy them. They make necklaces and stuff like that. Probably should stop doing that because most of the people are making like good luck charms and stuff. And I don't do it for that. I just looking for that Ellensburg blue. I think that's on the. I think it's a precious stone now. It's on the. They moved that up on that scale. I took him over there. Used to hunt. The same old little homemade porta potty was still up there under the same tree. Wood, so it was biodegrade. The old John Crapper. Now I got the elk. Those ones there, and then the deer. I never really did care for the east side deer here in Washington. They just taste. They're too sage. They ate nothing but sage or sagey. I didn't like that gamey. Ones we got here, the elk and stuff. They eat is green foliage, ferns. We got, like I said, we got some big old ferns over there, big ones, big huge freak skunk cabbage. It's just absolute freak of nature size. Huge skunk cabbage. I'm trying to remember, where did we move to after that? But I think we went to. Where did we go? Well, I'll go back and fill that in, but let me just go ahead. I guess I'll just go where I'm led to go right now. Now, Cecilia. That's right. There we go. That's how the Lord did it. Okay. So we move into the red maple. We move into the red maple. This is on the north side of Tacoma. On that side of Tacoma General, where my daughter was born. And Tawana was now pregnant, and we just lived right down. Like I said, on this side of 6th, the east side or the north side of 6th is just really nice, and even now I can get myself enthused about thinking about some of them old houses that are over there, just beautiful. And then they have like the Widow's Walk because it, looks the Elliott Bay or what is it, Commencement Bay, whatever one it is down there. I get them confused. To see if they're loving. They're reminds me of that song, "Love Is the Ocean." Brandy, such a fine girl. What a good wife you would be. Such a fine girl. And the only reason I don't play that usually is because I don't want future wife to get the wrong. But those widow walks, beautiful homes. So we lived Red Maple. It was an apartment, old school apartment, probably turn of the century or so, probably 1900s, 1910. Had the Murphy beds, one room Murphy bed, big old claw tubs, which I loved or liked. Thought I loved them, but definitely liked them. Kind of like cake. Like I love cake, but not like, you know, agape or there's different types of phyllo and all the different, which I'm learning. We're all learning. So we're in this, and Tawana, she's pregnant with Cecilia, and I just gave birth tonight or yesterday. It's like the first time every day because it was nice that Mikey was there to, the father, my grandbaby's daddy was there for his granddaughter to be born. What a beautiful thing. So that's a good thing. The Murphy bed. And I wasn't doing so well. Again, of course, like I said, some of you are going to get real. Well, why aren't you doing so well? Dang it. Well, that's so we could be having this conversation and maybe help someone along the way that's not doing so well. This is when crank went to meth, pretty much. It went from the lithium P2P, P2P propanol to, which people that know, I'm not trying to glorify it, no, and those of you that don't, it's just, to me, it's just like there was and no, I would never go back to it, but it went from propanol to, I don't know what, but anyway, it was lithium, and I was doing that, and then it went to something else, got real weird. China, what it got, but started doing, not doing right, swinging and being just not doing right. Not well, yeah, it was promiscuous, even though we were. But then she got so pregnant that we stopped doing that. I was still doing drugs, and she kind of stopped for a while, and then had the baby just right down the road, Tacoma General. And I had been up for a couple of days, so I didn't even go see my own daughter born, which I looking, if I didn't know what I know now, I'd feel regretful. And I was literally less than a mile away. If you go look, you'll see Red Maple. It's still there. I just drove by it not long ago. Because I told you I had that plum tree out there in North Tacoma that's tucked away. Not many people know about it. Big, beautiful plums. Short little tree, been pruned just right, man. I've been getting plums there since my son was small. I wanted to get a whole mess of them and then just dry them out and prune them up. My mouth is watering thinking about it. When we lived there, I was doing dirt. She had the baby. And my bro Forrest says, man, we got to get you out of here. So we ended up moving down to Renton. Right on the same river that I had that premonition after I was going to punk out. But in my own defense, I was just so gone. It was all demonic with just bullcrap in my head. It's all just lies spinning around in your head. You'll notice once you give your life to the good Lord, Yahweh, Abba, our Heavenly Father, your dreams, you stop having bad dreams. You notice that? Because when you go to bed, that Holy Spirit, it's not only in you, but you got spirits watching over you. Your doorpost has been marked. We move in, rent in this nice house. It's Jaybert and Lois. Jaybert and Lois. Jaybert and Lois Roberts. Just like the Roberts. We have Jaybert and Lois Roberts. And my bro Forrest, whom now his baby that he just had when I was living in his house when I first got out of prison, and Teresa and him had just got married and had little Bug down in Cedar Rapids, and then because I was up to my dirt, and then went with Tommy and all that stuff. Well, he's living with her, and now Bug's a little bit older in one of Jay's houses too. That's how he was able to get me in down there. Real nice. That's when downtown Renton was really nice with the Kmart. Everybody knows the Kmart. I shopped there when I was a kid. In that very Kmart, it was still there. I'm right there in the same right by the same river, renting a house. Nice little. I was it was nice older house, but it was cut duplex, kind of like it's the Tammy deal, where there was a couple rooms upstairs where we lived, and then there was like I think two or three downstairs, which Al and his mom, black family, nice black family, didn't really associate much with us. Of course, they did bang on the on the ceiling a lot, and I banged back down. They didn't like it that I shot off Big Bard. I had a homemade cannon my biological dad, had made. And, it was something else, man. It was a bruiser. But that thing would set car alarms off all over. So I didn't do it much. And then they didn't even know where it would come from. So, but you couldn't do it too much because where there's smoke, there's fire. The kid knew. He thought it was funny. I'd let him know because I'd shoot it right underneath his window. He's like, "Okay, go ahead. I said, make sure you plug your ears." Put bow fuse cannon in there, pack that thing real good. It was a little portable one, but it was just enough to rock that little neighborhood, man. It was fun. So we're there now. The baby, she's in it. She's in the stroller. My little Sicilian. That's where I said we take my little towhead girl. She's just her little head was as wide as can be, and like I was when I was a little boy. And that's where I first took her to the beach, and she found that cigarette butt. And I said, "Oh, you want to smoke, do you?" Just like Donnie in the garbage. I know that's the garbage. Now get out of it. Go, bitch. That's right. Now get out. That's right before that little incident with the bean sprouts. She says, "Yeah, and I got a picture of her that cigarette. I don't know where she's seen. I didn't even smoke, but she picked it up along the way." And my bro lived right up the road. It was nice, even though I stopped doing meth. I wouldn't have kept that very long probably, but then I went back to coke. I know you guys are gonna want to kick my butt, and I started going down to people that I knew. I started hooking up back down in Rainier because I'm now back in King County. Excuse me. And so I'm starting to run back down Hook, Line, and Sinker, which is a tavern down there, right down there in Rainier Valley. A lot of you, excuse me, a lot of you will already know. Safeway, pretty rough little area. I used to run that all those streets when I was a kid down there. and the old coke crack spot all up and through there. I started doing my dirt course, doing back into my heisting again. And Tawana, she got a job. Of course, she's always had been working. Even I need to fill this in too, because so I need to add this so that she don't get any undue injustice by maybe some judgmental sorts. Because I get like that. I mean, when you're in it, I have more of a right to say because I'm well, on and off. I've got 25 years. Oh, that's why the Lord says, son. That's why I got you, son. It's not all been in vain. So yeah, that was a nice little. That was a nice, even though there was crap going on, it was all right, man. I, I got a lot. I got a lot of good experiences out of that. I'd take my kids, the children. Well, at least my son. We'd go Sicilia also, but not up to float down that same river that I was gonna. We'd take a bus up and put the bunch of everybody would do it. Cheapest way to go. The bus driver, because it was a little shuttle bus that went up, same bus that she used to take years before down to Renton to go to work. Like I said, she's been working all the time. She's always had a job. So most people wouldn't even know, because it's because people work and seem to maintain, and not, it's just could be so much better. We'd take the bus up, a whole bus full of people with inner tubes. And some would get off sooner, some would get, depending on how long they wanted to, and then down to either Sherry's, which was, I think, Denny's back then, going up to Bellevue, back way through Newcastle. I used to palletize them bricks at Mutual Material. Oh God, you want to talk about an ass? You want to talk about a hard job? Oh Jesus, that's when I was. That's when me and Danny and Liz and all them, we were all kind of living in that little in that little apartment up there when I first got out of Green Hill. And my buddy Trey Barnes, his shoes, those Filas. When they first came out, believe me, they were what I sold those for. But I couldn't wear them; they were way too big for me. But all that big old circle right there. Used to float down there and get out, and then people would drive off. But we just get out and walk home. I lived less than literally a city block away from that river, and it was like I said, it was closed. But when them salmon were running, I'd go down there and hook one. My son still to this day, he says, "Dad, I remember that." He goes, "That was a real good." That made me feel so good when he tells me, he goes, I remember that. I remember that. He goes, "I remember you punching that thing. It was huge. It was probably 20, probably 23, 27. It was a big fish. It was like, a little south of 30 pounds. Big old sockeye. And I hooked that thing, and it was still alive. It was plenty. It hadn't even reddened out. It was good and green. It was ready to go. It was chromy. And once I hooked that thing, zzz, and I knew, and I had it all set, I said, "Okay, come on, Donnie, I want to show you." And I said, "Now you hang on to that, boy." I had to help him, but he felt the power. And he was hooked. And when I got it in, I had to, because there was people doing night walks, because we went down at night and did it, because it's closed, and I'm right down in downtown Renton. People don't do that in downtown Renton. Well, I wanted to give him a little experience, and I knew they were running. They were only running for a certain amount of time. Do you know I ended up getting enough that night that they were still, I'd knock them out, take them, put them in a bag so they weren't flopping around, and him and I'd go to the house. I put him in my tub. True story. And I'm sitting there, getting one ready, skinning it up. He'd probably bringing back memories when I get out of the garbage, right? But at this time, he was going to school up in High Point. My Aunt Sue, my dad's twin sister, where my grandpa Bud lived up in High Point. Well, he passed away, cancer, colon cancer, intestinal cancer, all that shit that's in that. Same stuff that they tried handing me. That the good Lord, seen to it that I was going to be faithful enough so that I could kick. So these fish come alive. They come alive in they come back, just like the chicken that was running on the dam comes back. They're alive. Of course, they were just, I didn't have, like I said, I didn't have very far to walk. So, and he still says, Dad, I remember when you were punching them because I had to hurry up and get them out. And these are big fish. You're not gonna pick them up by their tail and whack them like or just take something. I had to quiet these suckers down because we were fitting to take these fools home, and we did. And by the time I had one good and filleted up and ready to go, and I was going to skillet, I was going to fry one so I could eat it quicker than the one other half of the salmon that was. I was cooking the other. I was cooking one half of it on the top, and the other half in the inside in foil with lemon and all that. My mouth is watering just thinking about it because I just really, really enjoy fish, especially when I'm cooking it. Especially when I catch it, I cook it myself, I prepare it all. Ooh-wee. And it's a beautiful thing, really. So it's a good memory he has. So we're down there, and then I end up, see, what ended up happening down there? Yeah, I ended up getting the cops to kick in my door. Now, why would you think they'd do that? Well, not because they're a bunch of losers, that's for sure. They were legitimately booting in my door. They could have went about it differently. They were looking for some really expensive Hummel figurines, some of which were into the thousands, really, the real rare ones, the big lamps and stuff like that you just don't see. But the more common ones were anywhere from, 160 to 380 bucks, and anywhere in between them. And believe me, they had a book on them, and they got them now. The internet, now everybody's pulled them out of. Oh, I think my grandma might have some of them, and just completely bottom end fell out of that one, which is fine because then it brings out, I'm into rare stuff anyway. I don't like glass stuff much anyway. The glass is. So they're kicking in the door. Now I hear them. They don't know anything about the house. Yeah, they just texted me what I was just telling you right now. Isn't that beautiful? Sucker. See, and I don't care. I still sent you my deal. You got my address. I don't look. We run this show, this truth. Remember the lasso, the truth lasso, and remember that. Don't sweat. Don't sweat it. Don't even sweat. We're running this. This is. There's a new. We're running the show now. We're canvas is. It's like you said. Well, we're standing here with a in a clean. I'm not no damn genie in a bottle, man. That's not what this is about. I'm tired. There's things I got to do, but I'm not wanting to sit and secret squirrel with my potential wife, or I want to be able to sit down and talk to her. I don't. That's not my deal. Is to sit and try to pick anybody's. I don't like doing that, man. Like I said, that's like reading. I'm just not into that, man. It's not my deal. You should see what I'm looking at right now. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's gorgeous. So nice. The sun is making its circuit going down portal, the way I'm understanding it. And there's now that same circle in the sky that was there yesterday when that beam of light came. Of course, it was a little bit earlier, but it's the same circle. Now the sun is in a different position, so it's creating a different effect, but absolutely gorgeous. This, you'd have to see it. I almost want to turn the camera around, but I'm not. You'll, and if that irritates me one too many times, it's finito. I just, oh baby girl. So it's coming. Oh, it's it's coming. I'm being patient. I'm going through, and as I'm seeking this financial gain, I noticed something. Now, normally I would get discouraged thinking that this has all just been a waste of time. All these calls, I'm getting shot down here and there, and this, and the Lord's like, now I know more now than even a year or so ago. There's nothing wasted when your heart's in the right spot and you're doing what you're led to do, because people are hearing it and they're seeing it. People, doctors, attorneys. I can tell you how many attorneys I've talked to, this is amazing. And some might say, doctors for what? Well, when I tell you, and I don't want to rat him out, but people are coming out of the woodwork. They're hearing, they're seeing what's going on. They're like, yeah, I think I've heard about this story. I said, yeah, because it's our story. I said, I think you see, the sucker. Yeah, baby. Happy Sabbath to you also. Happy Sabbath to you also. You might, Rabbit. You might. But what I do if Muggsy was in, yeah, you might. So Cecilia, I would push her around in her stroller. Her and I would have so much fun. I knew all the buses and the or not all the bus routes, because there's a lot of bus routes in Seattle. But I'd take her. It didn't matter because Donnie'd go out. He'd be off to school. He'd be up at the High Point, not High Point, Skyway, where my grandpa Roy, Bud, and I didn't even mean to. Later on, but I didn't even try to do that. And then his daughter, my dad's twin, bought a place, and that's when she got her job at Sandpoint Naval Base. That's when I use that illustration. You'll know counterfeit by being around the real thing long enough. Can you imagine being around all that? But anyway, I don't want to get off track. Money, and then somebody tries to hand you some Toys R Us money, right? And so I'd push her around in her stroller, and I'd all through just some of the roughest neighborhoods, and just waiting for the bus, because to catch a bus, I'd be, but everybody loved little Cecilia, little towhead, but she tanned real good like her daddy. Even though she didn't burn. She didn't burn. Like a lot of little towheads, those little, those ginger types. Mine didn't. She didn't. I tan, and I'm not bragging, but I don't burn. I don't. I do if I lay out like a long, long time and I'm swimming or something. And there's some kind of magnification or some kind of something assisting that. Other than that, me and the sun, we get along just beautifully. I can sit in that 110-degree weather in Redding, Happy Valley area, and people are like, man, you ain't sweating like old Debo's pigeon coop. Yeah, it's moving. It's moving across now. It's purple. It's purplish blue. It looks like it's got. Wow, that's amazing. I've never seen the sky really that color. I mean, I have, but that's cool. That is the purple on the rainbow right there. Oh, good catch, Roy. The purple on the rainbow. That's cool. Now that circle is the clouds are starting to close up, but not before the sun is illuminated, has all this silhouetted the clouds like it was underneath the, it's shining through that circle and lightning, just kissing everything all the way around. Oh wow! Now here's something really. I really should be showing you this. The circle in the sky is over here, but the sun is making its circuit over here on the east, but it's all illuminated right here. There's nothing but clouds all the way over here. Now, how is that happening? I should go out and really take a picture of it, but you guys believe me. But that's a miracle. That's how's that gonna happen? Well, I'm sure they'd have an answer for you, right? Not really. Now they're losing their damn. They're flat, just shedding smooth. They're flat, smooth out, man. It's like that bacon. Did you see that bacon? That old nasty bacon they were cleaning, scraping the fish. They were making a fish skin bacon. My son showed it to me. Oof, just nasty, 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 nasty. So I'm pushing her around in her stroller, and we'd go to Chinatown, and we'd go to Pike Place Market, we'd go all over, and you know, it was a little bit different time also, but I'd let her crawl on the seats. I say that because I'd let her go because people would be like, even people that couldn't believe that I would trust her because you can't keep that little girl sitting down on a bus with all that stuff going by. All she wanted to do, you know. So I just set her up. I'd always sit in the back, always back seat, always. Me and Tubman, man, we would have been good friends because that's the first place I went. I liked sitting on that motor. I didn't care. I know it sounds like, oh, this gonna have some freaks in there, but it's all right because I'd sit right there. And it was a little noisy and stuff, but I'd be able to smoke weed. Like, what, smoke weed? Well, yeah, if you can smoke weed, learn to smoke weed in juvenile hall and stuff, you could do it on the bus. And, and really, people really didn't even know what was going on. They should have. But then I'd let my child, Cecilia, the back seat is like this. And then right there, they start running this way and then they go this way. Well, that's how they are at Metro. I guess it depends how they're constructed. I haven't been on a bus in a while, but I'd let her she would just, and she'd work her way closer to people, and people would be smiling. Hey, is it okay if I give her, and if I felt comfortable, I'd say yes, but usually it was, no, 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 that's fine, but, well, it's okay if she, looks at this, but yeah, there's certain things, but they were all trying to be nice. They were there. I didn't really have any. And if I did, maybe it was because I was, I might have been, because there was times when I was a little buzzed. But I let her just kind of have the run. She wasn't she knew not to get on the floor or nothing, but I did that. She, oh, well, I'll be dinged. There you are. I'm going to have to stay on here, sweetie, just because I want to finish this up real quick. So she just would be going back and forth, my little tow-headed little girl, and it didn't matter who it was. It didn't matter if they were black or it didn't matter what. They all loved little Cecilia. And they all tried to feed her, even if they were like homeless or like they just like felt obligated to feed this little girl. It's kind of cute. They just made these men. Some of these, you could tell some of these men were they were bitter and angry and just so lost and tired and lonely, Nelly. So yeah. So then what then? And she would just completely break him down. She just she would just turn him into the putty that the Lord wanted him to become, that clay, so that he could mold him into an acceptable vessel in which has to be maintained by a daily, you gotta maintain and have proper upkeep on. You want to live for a while, of course there's lead to death and that don't. But I don't want to. It's a case by case deal. I don't want to be. I just don't want to. I ain't messing with the man upstairs. Yahweh is his name. So I'm calling him. He knows your heart. But so I used to go through the Goodwill. People drop stuff off. Like I said, I'd be like, wow, and I know it's stealing. I knew it was. But I would take home, like this bunch of boxes. I was going to the store down in Renton. Being at Renton at that point was a real kind of a nice place to live. The things at the donation box that I was stealing from were really exceptionally fine items. And I'm saying that because I picked up this one box, this box that was unlike any other box of stuff that I picked up at that point. Because you see, and for good reason, but I guess she still, this is what she got for what she was doing. I found this phone. It was a Sony phone. You remember the old cordless phones that have the antenna that, you know? And it was the old, the plastic ones that had the different channels that you could just change. I think there was like 10 to 12 channels or whatever. Of course, they had the battery and stuff, and then the big old cradle and stuff. Well, I got a box of stuff. I brought that box home, and I'm going through it, and I find a phone that doesn't have the cradle, but it's the exact same phone that I have. It's just a different color. And mine was white. So what I did is I was curious, and I took my phone off the cradle. Plus, it was charged up now anyway. And I set the one I had just found in the box on the cradle. And I'd forgotten about it, I think, for the whole night. The next morning, I get up and I notice my phone's still got a charge on it, I noticed. And so I pulled it off, and something just prompted me to turn it on. Of course, I put the antenna up, but I turned it on, and true story, if I'm lying, I'm dying. I heard Teresa, my cousin's wife, that he was now in the process of getting a divorce with, and I don't want to say too much because I don't want to slander her and I don't have her permission, but let's just say she was the one that I had met years before, and Forrest met there up in on Benson at Terry's house, where Phaedra was the babysitter. And then I ended up meeting, like I said, it's if you were to, which you will, you're going to see the whole thing and be like, wow, that is just. And now the son is even doing something even more amazing. The good Lord is really. Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. So, and then I'll wrap this up so I can watch your video, sweetie. I will, because it's been a real glorious day. It's been busy, but it's been quiet, and you look great. You really do. Despite anything, I'd like to spend at least, spend a little time. Thank you very much. So there's Teresa's voice. Now, see, Teresa, she had just divorced my cousin and wasn't being very faithful to him, and I knew that. I couldn't tell him because some other things that I'll tell my wife when I when we see each other, which might just kind of complicate the issues. Because yeah, let's just say that Little Orphan Annie seduces more than just what meets the eye. But I'd been over there because I was buying weed from her now and again, and I've been over there a few times, just been led to pop in, and my bro was hard at work. Plus, when you know certain things, and you get when the army is advancing, you can. A lot of time before, when you have no software, you don't know. You just think you don't know. But then you got somebody mouth that's educating you, and you start paying attention. You go, wow, maybe that really is happening. It's not just wishful thinking here. And then maybe this is, but that definitely wasn't or isn't. And so that's why I know so far so good. There she is on the phone. Now, she was slandering me before about being a cokehead, which, I was. I had such a beautiful family, and I couldn't blame her in that sense. But if she was going to slander me and love me enough to talk crap about me, if that's what you want to call it, she should have came and especially do it. And well, I'm not even going to say that. The friend that was living there, do you know something? If I was, she should have came and talked to me and said, "Hey, listen, man, I really, you got a nice family here. Why don't you? You don't have to, but I want you to know that you're a piece of shit, and you really should stop doing what you're doing." Mm-hmm. I'd have had more respect for that instead of trying to pick certain people up and then turn around and talk shit about them, about being a cokehead and all this and that, which that was all true. Didn't say it wasn't. But there she is on this phone that I find in a box, in stuff, some nice stuff that was just left at, oh gosh, now you want to see something? You want to see how this works? You want to see how the Lord just blew my mind? As my judge and witness, the place I stole those pills where I first tried killing myself after all that crap was happening to me at the loft when I was made a word to the court. And I just wanted my mom to take me home. I really did. And he was showering with me. That weirdo was that 5 member, all that stuff. Oh, there was a petty ring they do when they had me restrained. That's 5-point restraint. They'd take pictures. These people were weird. Weird. That's why after I went to Ruth Dykman and he got transferred to Jesse Deiselin with that John DeBuy freak, he and the supervisor was able to get it. She got a job there, and then they transferred. It was all not everybody was involved, of course not. Just like everybody in damn Satan, the dragon, NASA's involved. It's because they can do some major compartmentalizing. But anyway, so that store that I stole those pills at Roxy was right directly kitty corner, and that thrift store is probably still there because I just drove through there. Now the place is all built up, and of course all the antique shops and stuff that I've just robbed are all gone because I definitely, and I've had to really ask for forgiveness years and years ago. That's why I brought this up. It's just a shame, but that store's still there, and that Asian guy that I stole those pills to kill myself, and then the kid caught me and said, "Look, you're gonna have to," and they, you can go back and watch it. So right there, I can actually see it. Now, you know how I seen it? And it came to my realization. Now you think, well, that's something you'd think you would remember. Didn't I tell you everything's going to come full circle? There's so much going on. I miss that myself. That is amazing. That's not even in my book. So I grabbed that box, and now see, because I grabbed that box in my mind, and I'm looking at that store, because that store is where I was buying my Wild Hours Rose, the same place I got them pills years before to stop all that madness. I just wanted to die. I just wanted the pain to go away. And I took that phone and just completely had no clue. And there she was talking about how, because he had, after, of course, my son had been, let's say he just did something so he can't ever have children again, and then she divorces him and gets a job, and he's just a mess. It's a mess. And she's got a job at this dealership down there, because in Renton, downtown Renton, they're all, I know I used to rip off most of their cars when I lived down there, and know half the cops that would swap out the cars thinking they were being slick, and I knew all the, because the dealership would let them go and take their cars and go do their dirty work and all kinds of stuff. But she was working at one of these dealers, and one of the owners had her all hooked up on coke. Of course, they were all hooked up on coke. They were all fucking freaks. But and myself, right? Well, that would be you too, yes. But I just wasn't screwing everybody's this and that and the other. I wasn't. Hey, little baby, my grandson's home. So anyway, I'm probably gonna have to cut this in a little bit, and then I can get back to your video. So I guess this is all meant to be. I want to wrap this up. So there it was, kitty corner. And there she is on the phone. And the reason I brought that up is that box, when I picked it up again, I seen that store, and I'm like, I got to share this with them. It's that same store they let 3 of us go in, while the line of us is at Roxy's to go to the outing. They're at the loft. That's how. Hi, baby. How you doing? I'm making a video.
Hey, Papa. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, go. I'll be out in a minute. I'll be out in a minute. Okay. I'll be right out.
Okay.
I'll be right out. And so there's Roxy right there. What are the odds of that actually happening again? Well, in my reality, man, I'm telling you, you can almost just write it right into script. So there she is on the phone. Oh, wow. You should see the sky now. It's absolutely gorgeous. She's talking about how she is hooked on coke. My jaw is dropping. She's talking about she's hooked on coke. She's your cousins, and they're all screwed up. He's on meth. He's on coke. They come over and do this, that, and the other. Why she's doing, everybody else you don't think ever knows. I know. He probably knows. And, well, especially when you get, oh, hi, baby ducky. And so, what are the irony? The phone, the channel. Well, you guess how it was picking it up? She was on a landline about the dealership that she was at in Renton was probably a mile, maybe a mile and a quarter from where I was at, which literally was less than 2 blocks. Because if you look where that store is by the old Roxy, I lived in between Roxy and the river. And so that phone call was being made over a landline at her desk to a friend of hers that happened to live just on the next block over by McLinden's, in between McLinden's, which I can write a whole book about McLinden's and how I seen Rusty. Oh God, now I'm going to get off. Bill, the one that molested my little brother, nobody knew. The other Bill, the sister Poteet that was in Grandview, the Grandview sheriff. Well, anyway, and met her mother and then Rusty again at McLendon's, and would come over to my house at lunch break. Crazy. Well, anyway, I get the call. Gets intercepted. Somehow gets picked up on the well, so be careful when you're on a cordless phone. Picks up a landline. Only the receiving part over the friend that lives a block over. that I used to walk past, and I'd see her car there, but of course, she hated my guts, so she's like, there's that, and there's that little girl, and he don't deserve her and stuff. As she's snorting coke and doing whatever, underneath, polishing who knows whose shoes for not a mini, but a whatever. You remember I used to sell the cars. I'd get a mini. Go, why? I go, well, I could sell so many cars and get a bunch of minis and make everybody happy, and they'll come back and go, we want him. They said that before. Well, all he's doing is this. And they go, well, we want to buy a car from him. So what is the odds of that? What are the odds? I mean, really. So there it is on the phone, right there, many channels picking up, not the receiving, not the woman's phone that I am intercepting. The cordless phone is intercepting her cordless phone, is only getting, and now she's here right now. Isn't that crazy? She walked in. I can not Teresa, but Dwana. She just brought my grandson because we're watching. Because my daughters, they just come back from the hospital, I think. My point is, she could say, oh yeah, because I said, listen to this. This is before she was on her way to work. I said, listen, this is Teresa. I put it on the speaker. I said, this is Teresa, dude. I said, look, she's talking about how it's a bitch to be hooked on coke. Oh man, she no lie, she no lie cocaine. That is you can't make that stuff up. Well, of course, you guys already know. There's still those that have stuck it out with me, right? So, and I just might as well fill this in. Yeah, Bill. I'm just sitting there, and all of a sudden she goes, aren't you so-and-so? And I, well, who are you? I'm ripping off McLinden's like you wouldn't believe at night. I'm going in, I'm doing stuff you wouldn't believe. Taking stuff, and oh man, it's a mess. I see, I don't even want to tell you half of it. I could write books just on that. And it's going to sound like I'm going, I'm not. But I was like, you're Rusty, Rachel's mom. She's like, yeah. And then she started telling me about Bill, what he was doing when he came back from Vietnam. I used to piss on her and beat her, and then my mom married her, and he was doing that. And that's why he ran off when I got out of Walla Walla for the first time, because he knew I would have killed him. If Shane would have, I pardon what I just said, I wouldn't have killed anybody. Here's the thing: we would have had us a nice little long talk out there in the woods in Bonnie Lake, which now we just made a big circle right off Kelly Lake Road East by Allen York Park. Remember Chris Munden, Nick and Chris Munden, and my buddy, I told you, Kenny Brown, that I was just encouraging just here, 3 hours ago? The one on Facebook that's drawing the skulls. I know, because it's all the big, man, I've been there. So high in the hole. Oh, wow. It opened back up. The sky is just literally, it's a red, it's cool. It's blue, red, turquoise. It's just so, all right, well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. We're going to stop here on Rusty, on Rochelle, and then that way I can go ahead and see how Millie's doing, which I love so very much. And like I said, man, it would, I'm not going to say it's not going to, it won't hurt. It will. I really hope that we can communicate. I mean, actually talk, and then I'll just go do what I got to do and get to where I got to go with you, and then we'll go from there. But we got to talk to iron out a couple little just minor things, man. That's how it's got to be. Or just let me know if by then, or else, I'm just going to do what I got to do. I mean, I deserve to get motivated on this also. And they're trying to throw us all a curve. It's not just your fault. They're trying to throw us a curve, but now you've got it. So if you want to get with this program and we'll make a go of it, we'll do this. And it'll be good. I think you'll everything that you already know. But either way, sweetie. Okay, well, I love you, and I'm gonna let you go because I'll just sit here and just love you every second of every God-given second. All right.